This is the MoonPod, a $299 beanbag that promises to change the game in terms of everything you knew about beanbags. Created by the same scientist responsible for the gravity blanket, this beanbag promises to imitate flotation therapy. Does it succeed? And is it worth your money? Because let's be honest, $299 is a lot for a beanbag. Well, the answer just might surprise you. So the not so secret sauce of the MoonPod is actually double-sided. First and foremost, what they're using is an ultra high density beanbag bead, which is about 1/4 the size of beads you'll find in other beanbags. This allows the beanbag to completely mold to your body without you feeling like you're falling through. It actually kind of locks you into place as you sink in and get rested into the beanbag. And honestly, it is really, really comfortable. So the ultra high density beads allow the MoonPod to take the form of your body, yet still stay firm at the same time and supportive. The other side of the coin is this stretch knit cover. And this is really cool because when you fall into most other beanbags, they're just gonna kind of blob onto the ground, and like whatever form they can end up going into is how they're gonna go. The beads are gonna go away from your body and not support you, which is how you get that kind of weightless feeling in it. That's not really the case here because the stretch knit cover actually pushes back to allow the beanbag to take on your form and still support you. It's super, super comfortable actually. We're gonna give it a 6 out of 5, which is absurd really, it's a 5 out of 5. But my point being is that this thing is so comfortable, you're never gonna wanna get out of it. Another thing that's pretty cool about this is the cover is completely removable and machine washable. You can buy additional covers if you wanted to change the color of the beanbag. But for me, considering the price point that the MoonPod already sits at, I opted to just go with one cover. Now, in terms of what makes this different than others, MoonPod tells you that there's 3 different modes to this, and it's actually really, really cool. So first, there's relaxation mode. That's where you kind of take on, like, imagine you're in a pool and you're floating. That's kind of the mode that this would be. And then there's laying down mode. That's pretty simple. It's really similar to relaxation mode. Honestly, those two can almost be used interchangeably in terms of how I experience the beanbag. And then the coolest part of this is actually chair mode. So what chair mode is you stand the beanbag upright, you sit down on it, and when it forms to your body, there's enough support in the back to actually keep you up. Now, in terms of support for the MoonPod, we're gonna give it a 4 out of 5. As far as beanbags go, it's the most supportive beanbag that I have ever laid in. But the caveat being is it's still a beanbag. As you shift around, that support will shift as well. And honestly, it kind of blew my mind because this thing is so comfortable to sit in. Like, I sat here the other day testing it out. I wanted to see how long I would stay in one position and not really care to move. I sat down and I didn't get up for over an hour. And the only reason I got up was because my Switch battery was getting low. Otherwise, I would have just stayed there all day. And that's something that's really, really cool about the MoonPod that you're really not gonna find anywhere else, is this is a beanbag that actually offers support. Now, $299 gets you this right here. This is the base MoonPod. It's gonna be good for one person who's on it, but it's not gonna be good for 2. It's also only gonna be really good for that chair mode is what I found. I mean, you can lay down on it, but really that's not something super comfortable. If you want to experience laying down on it, I highly recommend also getting the Lunar Lift, which is this right here. So the Lunar Lift adds $129 to your purchase price. See what I'm talking about? Your price point is getting pretty high pretty quick. And at first you'd think, oh, it's just like a little footrest, and that is what it is, but it just combos so nicely together with the MoonPod. It is, it's so comfortable. And then if you really wanted to take relaxation mode to the next level, they have this guy right here. This is the Crescent. And no, you don't wear it like this. You sit in it like this, and this is going to give you the most similar experience to a recliner like the one right behind me, except the difference is the MoonPod is actually completely contouring to my body, and I can actually feel the MoonPod literally curving along my spine, and yeah. It's just so comfortable. It's so comfortable. When I heard the $299 price point for just the MoonPod, and then on top of that, you add in, like, for reference, what I'm on right here, this is a $500 package about, and that seems like a heck of a lot for a beanbag. But this thing really is unlike any other beanbag chair you've ever had before. I mean, honestly, this is more comfortable than my couch, which I have right here. This is more comfortable than this chair, which I usually spend a lot of time in. The last 3 weeks, it's just been this, the MoonPod, because this thing is so comfortable. I wanted to not like this product. I really did, because the $299 price point just for the base beanbag, and then you get to $500 pretty quick with these guys, seemed absurd to me. And I really wanted to hate on that a lot. And I still do think it is overpriced in my experience. But when I consider if I would buy this again, like if this MoonPod just got ripped to shreds or whatever, and I needed a new one, would I buy it again? And the answer is actually yes. Now, does it imitate and mimic flotation therapy? Well, I've never done flotation therapy, but I know that it's kind of like you're floating in a pool on your back and there's lights and stuff. I've floated in a pool on my back, and I'll tell you, this does not feel like that. This feels more Aiken. Like, there's not really another experience to describe what I'm feeling right now, actually. I mean, it's like a beanbag on steroids, and that's pretty cool. This is a product that you just don't know how awesome it is until you're in the product. I mean, over the last 3 weeks, I've had friends over, I've had family over, I've had a multitude of people test the MoonPod, and every single person that tested it was actually shocked by how comfortable this thing is. And I am too. Now, one thing that's super cool is it's portable. The MoonPod is 12 pounds, so I put it up in my game room, I've brought it down here, I've pretty much taken it wherever I can because it is the most comfortable thing to sit in, and it's easy to move from room to room. And I really like that. So is the MoonPod worth your hard-earned cash? And does it mimic flotation therapy? No, it doesn't mimic flotation therapy at all. So here's the thing. If you're comparing this and you're like, hey, I just need a beanbag to fill a space and I'm not really gonna use it. For instance, I have a beanbag that was about $79. It's a beanbag chair. The back fell out of it from like day one. There wasn't enough beads to fill it up. And it just was nowhere near as comfortable. If you're looking for something like that, then this probably isn't it. But if you're comparing to like something like a Lovesac or any of the other high-end beanbags, the MoonPod comes in at a steal. I mean, a Lovesac, yeah, is way bigger, but those things are over $1,000, and this is actually more comfortable. This would be more along the lines of something you're looking to replace like an actual recliner with, potentially, to give you more of an ultra-modern look to whatever room you're using. I think that this is great for game rooms. I think that the MoonPod is great for Christmas presents. For your teenagers especially, they're gonna love this thing. Every time you come to the room, this is what they're gonna be on. For instance, I have a beanbag that was about $79 and it sits in the corner of my game room. It looks fine there, but that's about all that it does is look fine. It doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't feel supportive, and it isn't something that I would choose to sit in over any other piece of furniture in my house. The MoonPod, I would, and in fact, I do. I take this from up in my game room to down here to wherever I want to go. I'm bringing the MoonPod with me. It's 12 pounds, it's super easy to transport, and it's super comfortable. My favorite mode is gotta be chair mode. I mean, chair mode by far and away is the most comfortable position that you can use for just the base $299 MoonPod. And then number 2 would be this right here. I mean, I could throw a blanket on me, grab my Switch, and play all day long. And honestly, I would have no qualms about it because this is super comfortable. So the question then is, are you looking to get something that's going to be really comfortable, stand out, and something that you're actually going to want to use? Because if that is the case, then the MoonPod is probably a great pick for you. It does come in at a pretty darn high price, but with our discount code linked below, we can get you a deal and maybe get you something free like the MoonPillow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.